Internet, thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. And I have found another superstar, I think, in the making to talk to, who is the amazing actor Claude George Jr. And we are here to talk about a recent release on Candy Jar, which I absolutely love. But first of all, I'm going to ask Claude to introduce himself to you, the internet.
Hello, everyone. My name is Claude George Jr.
Okay, so I'm going to go for the next one then. Right. Are you a city boy or a country boy? Where did you grow up?
Ooh, I would say a country boy. Because I grew up in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's a bunch of cows, grass everywhere. When I first moved to LA, I was definitely like, wow, this is amazing. I was like just a little country boy that had never seen a big city before. Um, but I've grown to be, I think, a city boy now.
Do you think it would be hard to go back to the country? Would you be sat going,
I don't
do?
think so. That's my roots. That's like in my future. I've always seen like I wanted the land with the white picket fence and all the animals and the dogs and the horses. So I think that's in my future for sure. I'll be back to a country boy eventually.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. Thanks. So next question is, obviously you were here as an actor.
Mhm.
Growing up, was that something you were drawn to, or were there other things that was where you spent your time?
It was always in the back of my mind because growing up, I watched a lot of movies. I was always a movie kid. But I was an athlete. I played basketball, ran a little bit of track, and football was my first love. And it was the sport that I was the best at. So that got me pretty far. I played throughout Little League, I played in high school. Then I played college ball at the University of Texas A&M. I graduated there with my bachelor's degree, and then I had a short stint in the NFL, but that was cut short. So then I pivot to my next career, which was modeling. I got scouted as a model in 2018. And that's when the idea of living in California kind of crept up. And I was like, let's just go see how this goes. And yeah, I just packed up cold turkey, kind of just told my family, hey, moving to Los Angeles, wish me luck. And came here and never looked back. I modeled I modeled full time for like 4 or 5 years. And then I kind of was just like, what if I got into acting? Because, I was like, I think I can be an actor. Everybody's like, I could be an actor, but I always had this passion for it. And I was just like, let me try it out. So I got into acting class. I took so many courses. I think for like a year, almost 2 years straight, I was just acting class like twice a week. And then I found my agent and I got a management and I started getting auditions and started booking. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm good enough to be doing this. So sticking with it.
So that's really dedicated. Like
Mm.
2 classes a week. I mean, obviously you were really studying. Do you remember what it was? What was the thing that kind of kept you going? What were you loving about it that you're like, I want to put all this work in and make this happen?
Just being uncomfortable, it was something new for me. Um, I'm also very competitive. That kind of stems from like my athletic days. I'm like, I don't really like to compare myself to anybody, but I'm like, if this person who's doing it and doing it at a very high level and, they came from the same background and upbringing as me, that's motivating for me because I'm like, okay, I can do it as well. And, I just kind of was just, I had tunnel vision and I set my mind to it. I'm the kind of person like once I say I'm going to do something, like I'm going to do it. And yeah, I just laser focus and started doing it.
What was your first paid acting job? Because that's quite a big moment.
My first like official acting gig was a background role. I took a background job. It was more so like I wanted to learn and I wanted to just kind of see how everything goes because I'm like, eventually that's gonna be me. Um, and it was a background role for Grey's Anatomy. I didn't get any screen
Mm.
time or anything, but I was just so fascinated with how fast everything was and the moving parts and the cues and the background direction. It was all just I was there just like kind of soaking it all in. Um And then I just kind of like took that and mental noted, like, okay, I'm here now, but like in like a year or however long, like I'm gonna be the one, in front of the camera. Um, and then my first official acting gig was Days of Our Lives, on Peacock, the soap opera, which has been around for so long. Um, that was my first official acting gig.
What did you get to do? What was your
I
role?
played a character. His name was Officer Hanson. I appeared in 3 episodes. And that was pretty fun. I've always, I grew up watching Days of Our Lives, so that was pretty cool to be a part of that.
Was that a bit of a family moment as well? If you grew up watching it, that you're
Oh,
like,
for sure.
I'm
Yeah,
on
my grandmother used to watch that show. Probably still watches that show to this day.
Okay. Okay, so it sounds like it's going well. Can you just I think it's always really helpful for people to understand just what is the climate, as in how many jobs are there in LA if you're looking for acting work?
Um, it's been getting a lot better. It was pretty slow in LA for a little bit. But production and everything has kicked back up. So I think the opportunities are endless. You know, there's weeks where I get tons of auditions, and then sometimes, acting's like this. You'll get 10 auditions in a month, or you can get 2 auditions in a month. It just kind of depends. But with all the different shows that they're making, and all the production companies that are coming back to LA, I think the opportunities are endless here. So it is a lot of opportunities for sure.
I love you. Okay, I really like you because you're so positive and you can see the
I
opportunities.
feel
I
like,
really love
yeah,
positive people.
I feel like
Um,
you have to be in this profession. You have to be positive. Otherwise, you won't. You won't really succeed. It could be hard. You're gonna get told no 10,000 times, and then you're gonna get told yes, and that one yes can elevate your career. So
so before we get onto verticals, what's the kind of a favorite role that you've got before verticals? One that you were, I guess, either most fulfilling or most proud of?
probably the show that I'm shooting right now. I don't think I can say too much about it. Um, I could say
Is
that they
this
just
a
want to.
case of follow your Instagram and IMDb and then you will know?
Yes. Very, very great show. Um, I would say that's my favorite as of now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess everybody watching, just stay tuned, and soon I'll be able to talk about it. But
So I've learned about the world of NDAs and I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But then we
yes,
build the anticipation. It's like, well, you have to follow him now and find out what it is.
exactly, exactly.
So, as someone who's kind of working as an actor, what's the kind of you heard about verticals and kind of what I guess, yeah, what you're hearing good stuff, were you hearing bad stuff? Kind of, can you remember what your impressions were?
My first introduction to verticals was pretty. I wouldn't say recent, but like I want to say like a year ago.
Yeah.
um I started getting wind of verticals, and I was like, oh, what's a vertical? And then I found out like how it's shot, and you watch it from your phone or your tablet, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And like as the year passed, I kept hearing more and more about verticals, and how like productions are putting more money, and like actors are now turning to the vertical, route. And I've always heard good things about it. And then ironically, I end up booking one. So it was pretty cool to experience. And just my experience with verticals have been amazing. So I'm very grateful to have shot one, and now I see them all over, and they're pushing them out. And Candy Jar has had some really good ones, and I've seen like premieres that they've thrown here in LA, and it's just really cool. Honestly, I think verticals is something that a lot of actors will start to do, um, because it is fun, and it's definitely, I think it's definitely going to turn into something like bigger as the year goes.
Okay, so we're going to talk now about your vertical, which is Secrets of Vixen. Um, Presumably you applied for that rather than were approached. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I got the audition.
Mm.
My team sent it in, and I just kind of how I do every audition. I sent it in, tried to forget about it, and then I got the call back with Wendy and production and casting, and I read with Alyssa, and I think it was my first read. I think I had three people to read with that day, and me and her were the first ones, and we just clicked. And I was like, wow, she's really good. And then I think after maybe like 45 minutes after the callback, I got the offer. So that was pretty fun.
Oh, and
Yeah, that was,
presumably Alyssa got the offer at the same time. So if people don't realise, Alyssa
yeah,
plays your
yeah, I
leading
think
lady
so.
Zora. So yeah,
hmm Zora, Miss Zora, she's so talented.
which makes sense because the two of you are just like dynamite together.
Thank you.
Um, right. So what was the difference for you then, acting of basically the pace and the way that a vertical's filmed? Kind of what were the biggest adaptations that you had to do?
Um, it was, I want to say it was pretty much what I expected. Like very fast, a lot of moving parts. It was, I mean, it was pretty much like any other thing I've shot before. Like, you go in and you got to keep doing scenes after scene after scene. But everything went well. It was pretty much what I expected. So it was cool.
Having done something like Days of Our Lives, is that quite a good comparison of just the sheer speed of
I would
working through
say
content?
soaps are a little bit quicker. I don't think people realize you shoot soaps in like one take, one or two takes. So
Mm.
you got to bring your A game. So I guess that kind of prepped me for everything else. Cause I'm like, I go in and I'm like, okay, I can't mess up. I got to know my lines, my points and all this, my camera. And yeah, I think the soap helped me with pacing because the vertical was a little bit slower, not as fast paced. We got a chance to redo some scenes if we messed up, and um, but yeah, I think it definitely prepped me for it.
Awesome. So I have to ask you about Quincy.
Mm,
Okay, because really interesting character.
yes.
Um, what do you like best about him? What appeals to you about him?
I I just love that he was two different people, and on one side he's this brawlic, you know, I wouldn't say violent, but kind of like badass character, because he's a fighter. But then his tone shifts every time he sees Zora, and he's like, how the Incredible Hulk, every time she touched him, he came down to human form, and that's what it was like with Zora. So that was pretty cool to like play both sides.
Mm, okay, and the thing I want to really ask you, there's so many scenes I want to ask you about, but I particularly want to ask you about actually because the reason Quincy's in Zora's life is you're
Mhm.
Zora's big brother's best friend,
Best friend. Hmm.
Xavier. Now, I think, okay, this is like one of my favourite scenes I've ever seen in a vertical is yourself and Xavier in that driveway,
Yeah.
how that conversation goes
Hmm.
and totally changes from them kind of just hanging to like almost friendship's almost gone.
Right.
Was that one of your favourite scenes?
For sure. Working with Brendan White, who's super talented, definitely, I feel like he's definitely gonna blow up eventually as well, just like um Alyssa, Miss Zora.
Yeah.
But we just had so much chemistry, and it was just crazy because I think my favorite scene with him was probably the scene where I walk into the house trying to find Zora, and we just that I don't know, the chemistry between us was just so amazing. Just I fed off of him, he fed off of me. But the driveway scene was very intense because you can see the buildup, the tension between him and I because like I'm trying not to overstep because he is my best friend and I'm also in love with his sister. So I'm trying to keep the balance, but I can't I don't he's fighting between like, okay, but I do love her, but this is also my best friend. You know, I don't want to mess up the friendship. And then it all just blows up in that driveway. Some blows were thrown and it was great.
And and when you're doing that, do you have someone choreographing it, or is it something you and Brendan just work out between you?
Oh yes, we had a stunt guy there that kind of walked us through it. And it was pretty quick. You know, he was I don't remember his name. I apologize for that. But yeah, they like walked us through it. We rehearsed it a little bit and then we just went and did it.
Mm. So one of the things as well I want to talk about is I really like Rochelle
She's so amazing. Yes.
because okay, so Rochelle's kind of sort of not really the girlfriend, isn't it? I think she's decided she's the girlfriend. I don't think Quincy's
Yes.
quite
She in
convinced.
her head, she was the girlfriend for sure.
So one of the things that's really nice in this is that sometimes there's an issue in quite a lot of verticals where the person who's a villain is just horrible and, you know, it goes a bit violent and it's not very nice. What I like about this is actually it's much more hurtful what she does because it's
Yeah.
like embarrassment. So
Yeah.
we find out that Zora's sent Quincy like a love letter when she was really young
Mhm.
and he's kind of
Mhm.
kept that as his lucky charm.
Yeah.
And the fact that Rochelle reveals that in front of everyone is just
Yeah.
mortifying. But what I
Yeah.
love is that there's absolutely no hesitation from Quincy. It's like, you're out now. Like, that is not on.
Yeah. It was it was funny trying to like Quincy trying to juggle both when deep down he knew, you know, that she wasn't gonna stick around because at the house scene when he like kicks her out the pool party, um, that was pretty funny. And she's Zora's, you know, watching from upstairs.
Yeah.
But the love letter, that was cute because he's like that's when she found out like, oh, you still kept the letter. And he's like, yeah, you know, it brought me good luck for all my fights. So I thought that was really cute.
It's really cute. And then it suddenly makes Quincy seem a lot softer. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there is
Yes.
something there.
Yes.
Because initially you think, well, maybe the attraction is the fact that obviously Vixen is so awesome. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, obviously, understandably, he's fallen in love with Vixen, but is it with Zora? And then you're like, oh, no, there's that link with Zora as well.
Yes.
Um, how amazing is Alyssa at dancing?
Oh, she was great. And I didn't know that that was her first time because she just when she did it, I was like, there's no way. Like she just did it. It was like second nature. I was like, that takes some talent because her and Rochelle doing their thing was just crazy to see.
Yeah, because she's phenomenal and obviously very good at yoga as well.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So my question then with that is when do you think Quincy falls in love? Like when is he properly in love? What's the moment, do you think?
Who? When did he fall in love? I would say he kind of has always been in love with Zora. He just couldn't pursue that, like since they were, you know, younger. Um, I think he was already in love because he kept coming back to the club knowing that it was her, you know, and I feel like that's love. You're not going to just go risk it with your best friend, losing your best friend to see his sister if you're not in love. So I think he's always been in love. And then once he found out that Zora was Vixen, I think at that point he was already in love.
And then the next thing is you have there's some really, because I think, I don't know, because you probably don't watch many verticals, I imagine, because you're not the
I've
target
seen a
audience.
couple. Yeah, I've seen a couple.
As a man, it is basically women sort of 30 to 60. So it's all right. I'm not expecting you to watch verticals. But often you don't get that nuance or kind of intelligent conversations. And there's really interesting point of obviously Quincy's like, I'm not really happy with you dancing in this club.
Yes.
But she's like, well, one, this is my job and I enjoy it and don't tell me what to do. But also, and you're fighting and I'm not really happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
How
she was
fun
very.
was that to play? Because you got a bit more to play with, just as the two characters bouncing off each other.
It was funny because it's like Quincy's mad at her for living this double life, and she's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, Mister Executioner, you're also living a double life." So it was great to see her like take charge, and you know, from this big, brawling, scary guy who she kind of put in his place, and is like, "No, this is what I'm gonna do, and either you like it or you can hit the road." Is pretty much what she told him. So I think he just had to accept it and just love her for who she was.
Yeah. And honestly, it's so good. And then I also really like, obviously, the build up to what happens with Zora's brother and the overdose. I mean, you both made my heart go, particularly Alyssa's
Man.
reaction.
Yeah, that scene was very powerful, because stuff like that unfortunately does happen in real life. So I think that kind of raised awareness
Mm.
to that situation. And that was such a powerful scene. And Alyssa and Brendan just like I was feeding off of them in that scene because it was very, very emotional. Like even after they yell cut, we're all sitting there like bawling, So it was a very strong scene. And yeah, I think to both of them, they just my hats off to them because they brought stuff out of me as well. They killed it.
I mean, no, it's credit to all of you, though. I sat and cried. So you made me
Yeah,
cry.
it was very, very,
Scream.
very emotional scene for sure.
Yeah. So overall, what would you say kind of your favourite scenes are? The kind of ones we haven't touched on that you're like, I love that moment.
Um, Favorite scene, I would say the scene with Brendan, the argument scene in the house, when he's looking for Zora, and I would say the cookout, the barbecue, because there was like the tension of I know Zora is Vixen. Zora knows she's Vixen. Xavier doesn't know. Um, and Rochelle is kind of like, something's fishy. And she's like kind of picking and throwing little jabs and the whole barbecue. And it was
Yeah.
just that those scenes were just so funny because we were having so much fun with that. And yeah, everybody just had like their own little, you know, spice to it. So it was cool. It was really fun.
So how long was the shoot overall? Do you remember?
Uh we filmed eight, I want to say 8 days, maybe
Yeah.
7, 8 days. We shot in Atlanta.
Mm.
Um, I think I was there for around 13, 14 days, and we shot for like 8 days. So it was pretty quick.
Okay. And then how long until it came out? Do you remember how long that was
It
roughly?
was quick. I was so just like, oh, it's out finally, yeah. I want to say it was like 2 months, maybe almost maybe 3 months, and then it dropped, and I was like, wow, I like this. Like it came out so quick, and I was like, the world gets to see all of our hard work. And I think that's the cool aspect of the verticals. When you have other stuff, it's in post production for 6 months, 7 months, probably longer than that. So I do think it's pretty cool how quickly verticals are posted, for the public to see.
Yeah, and obviously you get that feedback and that recognition, on your
Yeah,
CV, don't you? Of look, here it is, here's it out, this is what people are saying.
exactly, exactly.
Because I obviously went on Instagram, I saw you had a watch party. I want to know more about the watch party and what everyone thought of the watch party. What were the scenes that everyone was like, this looks so awesome on screen?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's something here in LA called Fish and Scripts that is done for people in LA. And we I didn't know it was gonna be a thing until Wendy told us about it. And then, we walked in and it was all these beautiful people about to watch our movie. So it was pretty cool. Um there was mixed reviews about Quincy. Not everybody liked him at first, but I think he started to win them over because they
Okay.
felt like he was kind of like playing both sides and like leading her on. Especially for the scene where he sneaks into the dressing room to put the note and break up with her. Um, and I think people's favorite scenes were probably the barbecue scene. What caught everyone off guard, I think, was the intimate scene. um, that was funny to see people's reaction to. I was just sitting in the corner like this. I'm like, me and Alyssa were just covering out. I was like, oh no. But I think everyone enjoyed it. We got a lot of great feedback. So that was pretty cool.
And so once it then comes out on the app, kind of what feedback have you had from people watching it then? Of kind of, has it have you found it's brought a new audience and new people
For
following
sure.
your page?
Yes. I get a lot of comments, DMs from people saying how they watched it and it's amazing. And they're fans, and I'm like, that's very refreshing to see. I see ads all the time on Instagram, or I'll see an edit on TikTok that people are making with Quincy and Zora. And yeah, it's definitely brought a new audience for me. So that's been pretty refreshing.
So I'm interested because people who kind of know verticals and know Candy Jar, who kind of just do a shout out, we love, love, love Candy Jar. Um,
Absolutely.
they very much say this is in the Secrets of Sin world. So obviously there have
Yes.
been a version of the story, which I think
Mhm.
stands alone and separate with Secrets of Sin. And then
Mhm.
there is a Secrets of Sin too. And
Yes.
know that there's more. Were you aware of that? And did you watch it at all? Or did you just like keep it totally separate?
I've I watched it after because I just kind of wanted to, bring our own flavor to it.
Mm.
But I found out afterwards that it was a part one and a part two. And I was like, ooh, there's a part two. So that means.
Yeah.
Um, but that one was also very, very great. Those actors were amazing too.
But I think you agree, don't you, that they have very distinct flavors.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure.
That's what's really nice. I think you've all got
Yeah,
different ways, and I know Wendy purposely changed things and kind of wanted her
yeah.
interpretation of it. Um,
Hmm.
but obviously, where I'm leading here is part two. So if you have watched Secrets of Sin part two, you will know that your character
Hmm.
has more screen time and has some fight time, which is quite cool. And given your
Yes.
athletic background, I'm thinking, please, can we have a bit of action on screen featuring you as Quincy?
That would be amazing. I think it would add a different element for the viewers to see Quincy in in his job
Mhm. Yeah.
that George so much hated. Um, but I think that would be really cool to do. If we get to do a part two. I don't know if we're gonna do a part two. I hope we do. Um, I guess everybody just has to stay tuned.
Because it does feel that there's a lot more to tell about Quincy, because it's like it's mentioned the job, but we don't really know anymore. We don't know
Yeah.
why he left. We don't know what's going on. I feel like we could really dig into that and explore it
Yeah, oh
more.
yeah. Part two, I feel like you could definitely dig into like his backstory and, what he does every day and see if he hates his job, if he loves his job, how does he really feel about it? And I think it would be cool to dive into.
Okay. So just going forward, you've obviously told us that there is an exciting project going on now that you can't tell us about. So I'm going to ask general questions, okay? So you as an actor, who are the actors you love? Who inspires you?
Oh man. So many. Uh there's so many brilliant actors that I grew up watching, even some that are younger than me that I started watching. First and foremost, Denzel Washington, all time favorite actor. Timothy Chalamet, I can go on. Damson, Idris, Coleman Domingo, Daniel Kaluuya, just so many brilliant actors.
Mhm.
Jamie Foxx is another one of my all-time favorite. Al Pacino, my poster
Yeah.
in the background. It's
Yeah.
the list goes on. I like to, watch movies and kind of just like take bits and pieces from all those amazing people and just soak it all in and,
Yeah.
try to use it in my acting and yeah, it's just a lot of motivational people out there that I look up to.
I'm going to pick on the two that I particularly love, who are Idris Elba and Denzel Washington, and just ask if you can then choose one or two favourite roles from both of them as well.
Oh, Denzel, Training Day.
Okay,
Training Day.
I love that. No hesitation, straight in.
Training Day where he won his Oscar, you know. Um and then for Idris Elba, I would say my favorite role of his is the movie with No Good Deed with Taraji P Henson
Oh, right, okay.
because he
Oh,
was playing a bad guy, and that was cool. I think that was my first time seeing him play a bad guy, aside from when he's playing Hobbs and Shaw, the
Yeah.
Fast franchise where he's playing the bad guy. I like seeing him as the bad guy. He also played in American Gangster with Denzel Washington, and that was pretty cool to see them two on screen as
I
well.
don't understand how like the screen didn't explode when you put two people
That
that
was a
good on the
right.
screen. It's
That
like,
was a lot of charisma on camera, but
yeah.
that was amazing to see. Hopefully, I get to work with either one of them in the future. That would just be mind-boggling.
Well, that's kind of my hope that eventually it will become that people cross the genres
Hmm.
in the way that, movie stars will now be on TV. The hope for,
Right.
people will be verticals, you'll be in movies. It will just move all the ways. And it's just another medium for people to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
Fingers crossed.
I just have to do a shout out for Stringer Bell because I grew up on, well, I didn't grow up, but Wire was fundamental for me. So I
Mm.
have to do a shout out for that. Um, and actually, I don't know if you've ever watched it. He did a really good comedy called In the Long Run,
In the long run, I don't think I've seen that
which
one.
it's one of those things that's amazing. And it's basically it's him with his family living in London in the 80s. And it's really fun and cool and hilarious. So
In the long
just,
run. Okay,
I have to recommend it. It's really cool. It's very funny.
I'll put it on my watch list. In the
Yeah.
long run, I'll check it out.
So yeah, I just have to do a shout out for that. It's one of those things that my husband and I'm like, we love this, but no one else watches
Yeah.
it. So we have to spread the word.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely check it out now.
yeah, and then I guess the other thing is, do you keep in touch with the cast? Because that's the sign of whether it was a good vertical.
Oh yeah. We all still talk. We have a group chat. Um, we all have each other on Instagram. I would say we all pretty much became so close in that short little time span that we spent together. But yeah, we definitely all still keep in touch.
Okay, that is awesome. I just want to say thank you so much because I think you're absolutely brilliant in it. It's such a good vertical, and yeah, it's just got layers and nuance, and I think all of your performances lift it. So thank you for spending half an hour talking to me.
Of course, thank you so much for having me, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that it's getting so much positive feedback, and yeah, I definitely want to come back for part two
Yeah.
to give
Secrets of Vixen 2. Everyone watching Secrets of Vixen 2, please.
Secrets of Vixen 2. Yes, hopefully, I get that call like, hey, we're coming back, and yeah, I feel like that would be so fun.
Amazing. Thank you again.
Of course, thank you.